minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
We're on the air, they tell us. We are the air. Welcome to a Football Friday on the Game Plus Television Network, everybody. Very excited about this program. 2 hours of almost 100% football talk. We're going to mix in a little hockey and a little baseball, too. It is Canada, after all, here on Game Plus TV in 32 U.S. states. Yes, do not adjust your sets. I got it on Banjo Bowl weekend. Got my rider gear. I got my obsidian green. That is Mitchell Scruffy Blair's favorite color as he joins us today, our football pundit and analyst and voice of Canada West football tonight. How are you, Scruffy?
I'm doing good. You bought into the obsidian green, did you?
Yes, I did. Long time no see, by the way, Scruffy.
Yeah, no, good time last night. Sadly, the weather sort of impacted things. I mean, a late night for you, not as late a night for me because I didn't have to drive back to Moose Jaw. But yeah, it was a good time at Pump Jacks last night.
I appreciate you coming down. We did have big fun at our NFL kickoff party. And you know what? Let's get into it. On a Football Friday. Quick 6 show topics. We're going to open with the NFL. You've seen, Mitch, everybody's talking about it. Jalen Hurts rushed for 2 touchdowns as the Super Bowl champion Eagles opened the NFL season with a 24-20 win over the rival Dallas Cowboys. As Mitch said, the wild game featured a weather delay, a late game-saving defensive stop from Philadelphia, and an ugly moment when star Eagles defender Jalen Carter spit on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott after they raised the Super Bowl banner. It was in the opening minute of the game. You and I were sitting side by side when it happened. Mitch, I'll just say this right now. Coverage I'm seeing today, especially like from the USA Today, is spitting incident overshadows NFL kickoff open. I don't think it did. Do you?
You know what? What Jalen Carter did was absolutely stupid. There's no doubt about it. Now, was he goaded into it by Dak Prescott? He may have been, as we saw that Dak Prescott, and I don't know why NBC kept that footage hidden until after the rain delay, but it was very interesting to see that Dak Prescott seemed to goad him into it. But the bottom line is, Rod, I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey. You don't spit on somebody. And if you do, you deserve every punishment you get. They were talking last night, and this morning I was watching a show. They were talking about, the NFL this year, they're talking about player respect and how they want the players to sort of respect one another more. And on the first play of the season, Jalen Carter goes and spits on somebody. So I think Jalen Carter is probably going to get a fairly lengthy suspension here. Like, I'm not thinking it's going to be 4 or 6 games or anything. But I think the NFL is going to send a message here right off the bat that you can't do that. But I'm also interested to see if Dak Prescott's going to get away out of this scot-free because, yes, he didn't spit on Jalen Carter, but he spit in the direction of Jalen Carter. And you can see that Dak Prescott was quite animated after Jalen Carter spit on him. Sort of like, I got you, bro. So I want to see what happens there, too.
Okay, well, the Rod squad has showed up. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the most egregious act on a football field since Garrett Marino taking out Jeremiah Masoli's knees a few years ago. Kevin the Medium showing up says, good morning, RP peeps. Happy Football Friday. That's what we're doing. Ball for y'all. That's what we're talking about. Shane from Deer Valley is texted in on the YouTube chat. He says, morning, Rod and squad. He was at our Pump Jacks NFL kickoff party last night. I will say this. As far as the game went, it was very exciting. There were only 3 points scored in the second half. I saw somebody refer to the game as bipolar. All the offense in the first half, no offense in the second half. But it's also overshadowing 3 drops by CeeDee Lamb in the second half. And I wanted to get your take on that. As the Cowboys fan here, I'm going back and forth. I'm emotionally detached from the Cowboys. We know that. I'm not going to allow their actions to affect my mood. They went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl champions, lost by 4, beat the spread, and not the worst. And I'm not going to jump all over CeeDee Lamb like Skip Bayless is for saying he cost them the game. He didn't. Yeah, I know. He didn't help them win. But he didn't cost them the game with the 3 drops. I didn't think. How about you?
The last drop was a tough catch to make regardless.
He touched it, but...
Yeah, he touched it. He probably should have had it because it went through his arms, and he is CD Lamb, but that was a tough catch. The one where that just about ended up getting intercepted by the Eagles defensive back, when he had it in his hands, and that would have put Dallas in field goal range, that's the one to me that I went, ooh, that game might have had a lot better ending if he hangs on to that one, because Dallas may have scored. They may have gotten the field goal to tie the game, which meant that Philly would have had to go down and do something. But the first, I think it was the first one, that was the bad one. The last one, I'll cut him a little bit of slack on that.
The audience chiming in, James Mooner Warnicki writes that he says the only reason Dak didn't spit on Carter is because, like his passes, he couldn't hit the target. Ryan McCarthy checks in from upstate New York and says, good day, Rod Squad. Happy Football Friday. Welcome, NFL. So just so you know, everybody, just to map it out, not that I need to tell you where we're going, but some people need to know where we're going. The big story is the NFL opener last night. We'll be talking about the CFL Week 14 when we come back after the break. We're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal for Pump Jacks, our NFL picks for Mitchell and I. We'll be looking at all the other NFL Week 1 games. This McDavid stuff isn't going away, and Mitchell being the resident Oilers fan. I know.
What, are you trying to be a guy now?
No, all I'm going to do is ask your take on it because you're the Oiler guy. I clearly am not. And also the Blue Jays are at the Yankees tonight. Tony from Concord, Alberta, writes in, and he says, it was a much better game than I thought. CD Lamb, there were 2 CD Lamb catches away from a Cowboys win. Yeah, that's one of those nights where on the plane home, nobody can even look at CD Lamb. Can't even look at him. I'm sure Jerry Jones probably made him sit in the bathroom on the way home. I've seen coaches do that. Okay, what I will tell you is the text line is open for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Moose Jaw's go-to for Ram trucks and Jeep adventures. You guessed it, Western Dodge. Stop in today. Give us a like. Give us a like if you're watching on YouTube. Comment if you don't mind, and a share. That would help us out a lot. We don't ask for much here on the RP Show. Mitchell Bear, I like that. Mitchell Scruffy Blair is with us, co-hosting today, which I really appreciate because he's going to be calling Canada West football tonight. It's a big night. The Alberta Golden Bears are in town. Saskatchewan Huskies are home to UBC, and Manitoba's at Calgary. Jim Barker coming up in hour 2. So hang on, everybody. We will be right back. It's a Football Friday on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and Mission Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time?
Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
Hour one of the RP Show, Football Friday, brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. From strategic communications to leadership training and conversational content, we help your message connect and inspire. Mitchell Scruffy Blair riding shotgun with me today. People are writing in with questions for you, Mitch, that have to do with Canada West football, so I'll get to those in a second. But Noni in Calgary writes in on the Western Dodge text line, and she says, morning, Rod. Hope you enjoy your last bit of time in the motherland and safe travels back to Florida. I'm struggling to make my picks in my CFL pool for this weekend. Sometimes what's obvious doesn't happen. So as we move to week 14 in the CFL, Mitchell, it's BC at Ottawa tonight. I wrote down this point spreads, by the way. Lions favored by 4 at Ottawa tonight, and then a Saturday triple header. Hamilton favored by 3 at Montreal. Sask at Winnipeg. Bombers favored by 1. And the late game Calgary at Edmonton. Stamps favored by 5.5. Are these games that hard to pick? Is Noni right? Do you agree with her?
I am 500 this year in picking games, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Well, let's start with tonight. In the CFL, the Ottawa Redblacks look to stop a 2-game skid and stay alive in the East Division as they entertain the BC Lions. Ottawa last in the East at 3-8. They got to be the most disappointing team in the CFL, Mitch. And the Lions, 4th in the West at 5-6, are also aiming to bounce back after a setback against Toronto. Is this one tonight that tough to pick? I don't think so. I think BC is going in to win, but...
Did you say that BC was favored by 4.5? Because last night it
4.
was 7.5 with the books that I'm looking at.
4 what I looked at this morning. It was odds sharp.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's been such a big drop or what you're looking at compared to mine, but I see the BC Lions winning this game, whether it be by 4 points, by 7 points. This is a battle of the 2 most disappointing teams in the league as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I still think that BC going into the season was my Grey Cup favorite. And to see them where they are, I think that team goes the way Nathan Rourke goes. And I think Nathan Rourke will slice and dice Ottawa's secondary tonight. I've got to go with BC.
So, and as we turn our attention to Saturday, it's the first, I think, it's got to be the first triple header of the year in the Canadian Football League. I affectionately call it Football Day in Canada. I don't think anybody else does. But some of our viewers were tuning in yesterday complaining. I'm not going to name them, Glenn Erickson, saying they don't like the triple header. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, there's a poll question for Friday. Do you like the CFL triple headers? Because they're rare, but we have one on Saturday. And the poll is brought to you by EMJ Marketing. It's a yes or no, and I'm going to tell you I don't like them, and I'll explain why in a second. But what are you voting, Mitch?
No, because there's so much football to watch now. If this was being done before the NCAA season started, I would go with that. But you've got 3 games, and obviously the interest in Western Canada will be on the game between the Riders and Bombers, and my TV will be on that one, regardless of who's playing south of the border at that time. But it's a tough ask to ask CFL fans, football fans in general, to sit in front of their TV for 9 hours. Now, some will say, well, I'm going to do that Sunday.
Exactly.
That's fair.
That's the first thing I say.
Exactly. That's a tough ask, though, on a Saturday afternoon to ask people to watch the CFL for 9 hours. Do I think it's okay to do it once or twice? Yes. Will the TV numbers be all right? It will be for Winnipeg. I can't speak about the other games, but they'll be a heck of a lot better than what they would be on Sunday because the CFL, and yeah, they've done a lot of dumb things in the past, but the one thing they were smart at doing was not going up against the NFL on Sundays once they start, and especially on week 1 of the season.
Well, Mitch, you're hitting all the tones today. You're because from a CFL perspective, because I know how they used to think in the league office. I don't know how they think now because I've been gone for so long. But it's like, what do you want? You don't want us to play on Sunday. We got to play sometime. So it's that Saturday triple header. But my thing is, maybe it's an age thing, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but I love the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday games. 1 game a day. I love it. Gives you time to enjoy the summer, and you're not stapled to the couch all day. This is not minus 40. You know, it's Canada, and summer is short. So I don't like the triple headers. I like 1 game a day, but I kind of get where the CFL is coming from with scheduling it. Kevin the Medium writes in and says 2 things. He says, okay, YouTubers, you need to hit that like button. It helps the show and doesn't cost you anything. That's right. Hit like, please. And Kevin also says, easy picks in the CFL, take all visiting teams. Well, the visiting teams are all favored except Saskatchewan at Winnipeg, and I think we need to talk about that game for a second. It's just kind of the thing. Riders win at home on Labor Day. They've done it 39 out of 60 games. And the Bombers win in the Banjo Bowl. Isn't that the way it goes?
Usually. And sometimes those games are not pretty for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I go back and look at some of the results over the last 5-6 years, and you'll see that the Riders have been, in your words, mollywopped by the Bombers at IG Stadium. And that place has not been kind to the Riders. You know, you think back, Darian Durant, that's where he got hurt in 2014 when the Riders were, looking at maybe having another Grey Cup. And who knows what would have happened that year. The Riders have been blasted by, and I didn't take a look at my notes today before I came on, but there's been some ugly one-sided scores for Winnipeg here in the past few years. One of them was because a bunch of Riders came down with a bad case of the bubble guts, and Craig Reynolds had to take players that were on the practice roster and rush them to Winnipeg in a van so they could get there in time. That was a couple of years ago. But, I seem to think that Winnipeg will win this football game. I don't think they're going to win by double digits, but this is a pretty tough task for the Riders.
David number one in Winnipeg, because there's 3 from Winnipeg that write into the show. He says the Riders are beatable at 9-2. Obviously, everybody's beatable. But did you say you looked at the game notes? I scanned them this morning. I didn't get too deep in them, but the one thing they said, nobody can clinch a playoff berth yet, which we still have half a season to go, so I'd like to think that we can't. But they said the Riders are the closest team to clinching. They need 2 wins as it stands now to clinch. And so if they win the Banjo Bowl, they would be 1 away. And so that tells you that they are the best team in the CFL record-wise. And can you believe the debate that it sparks? Have you followed our social media channels? When I just throw out who's the best team in the CFL, people lose their ever-picking minds. I guess that means there's no clear-cut winner to that question.
I understand, well, we both do, the passion, the over-the-top delusion that some fans of the team with the logo on the shirt that you're wearing today have for their squad. You can never say anything negative about them, or else they come after you because they don't want to take a look at the true facts. The bottom line here is when you take a look at the records, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are the top team in the CFL. But the Calgary Stampeders have beaten the Saskatchewan Roughriders twice. And if the Calgary Stampeders played the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Western Final at Mosaic Stadium in front of what I hoped would be a sold-out crowd, but I doubt it, it would be tough for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win that game because Calgary has dominated them twice. Now, things can change between now and then. Vernon Adams could get hurt. Trevor Harris could get hurt. We don't know what the conditions would be for that game. But would anyone be surprised if the Calgary Stampeders beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Western Final, if it should come to that?
No.
It wouldn't me.
Of course not.
And so, to me, Calgary's the best team in the CFL, but only because they've beaten the Riders twice, and the Riders only have 2 losses.
John in Edmonton writes in.
Blame away, people.
John in Edmonton says, Rod, I really hate those weather delays when you're playing outside. You should expect all types of weather. Oh, he's referring to last night's game, which I don't know in the end how much it was delayed, 45 minutes or something. That was right around the time you bolted, I think, from Pump Jacks. And we're all sitting there going, And this is out in the Western time zone. Imagine trying to watch in the East. And I don't get it. Like I said, you and I have been watching football for about the same amount of time. We had those old games at Taylor Field. We didn't stop the damn game unless the power went out. It worked like hell to get power restored. But there was never, a flash of lightning. Ooh! Or smoke or whatever. It's this time in society now. Safety.
Yep. There used to be a lot of things we could do at Old Taylor Field or other stadiums that we can't do. I don't know. There might have been a few people that may have smuggled in some alcoholic beverages after visiting the 7-Eleven on Dewdney at Taylor Field. But yeah, the game has changed so much and not everything around the game. And now, what happens if they're in a storm situation and something happens in the stands? Nowadays, I'm going to sue. That never talked about back in those days. So do I like it? No. Do I understand it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, who's making these decisions? I don't want to go so far as to call them numpties, but we had a game, my Miller Express against your Regina Red Sox here this summer that was delayed an hour because of smoke. You might remember the game. It was a Monday night. Yep. And so whatever, fine. But you got the players out playing hacky sack. Cheerleaders are doing their thing. And it's like, how come you can do that, but we can't play? That's the part, I think, where it doesn't make any sense. That's the upsetting part.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I know a lot of people were upset over what happened with the CFL game when Calgary was here and the game was delayed until the next day. And yeah, you've got people doing their thing on the field. Luke Wilson's doing a punt, pass, and kick with Mark Johnston, the Riders on stadium host. The cheerleaders are doing their thing. The fans are in the stands waiting. And we're being told that the players are staying inside because it's not healthy for them. Well, hello. But I just think, I go back to that. I think that was just botched terribly by the CFL. And I think the Riders didn't do themselves any favors that night by not communicating properly with the fans. And maybe part of that was because they were looking for a message from the CFL. But yeah, it's a bad scene.
In the next segment, we're going to talk NFL and college. So for this, Rob in Regina writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, how does Scruffy think the Regina Rams are going to do in Canada West this year? Haven't heard who the favorite is to come out. There are 3 games tonight. UBC at Sask. Moose is calling that. Alberta at Regina. Scruffy's calling that. And Manitoba at Calgary. What's your take on the Rams in Canada West in 90 seconds?
Hardy Cup last year was the Rams and the Huskies in Saskatoon. I could see that happening again this year.
Wow. Be a big crowd, I'm sure, at Griffith Stadium tonight. They're saying 10,000 plus. Hopefully there's a good crowd here tonight.
Regina game at Libel Field, so I'm looking forward to see what that's like.
Who's doing color for you?
The Brooks Bomber. Daryl Rummel.
Daryl the Bandit Rommel from CTV.
Yes.
Okay. Good,
Yes.
good. Well, that'll be a lot of fun. Okay. When we come back, Scruffy and I are going to play NFL Deal or No Deal. We're going to look at this weekend's NFL games. I'm going to give Mitch the point spread, and you'll decide whether you want to take the bet or not. And if anybody wants to join us talking about those games, you're more than welcome to. Jim Barker coming up in hour 2. And we got to make it fast because I still want to get your McDavid take because we only got 20 seconds here, unless you're tired of it like me.
I'm tired of it. He's going to sign. It's going to be about a 5-6 year deal. We move on.
Okay, you've already said that. You've said that. You said he's going to sign.
I said that night, yep.
Before the season, or
but I didn't
shortly.
think he'd have signed by now. But he'll be signed by the time the puck drops to start the season.
For our U.S. fans and viewers, you wouldn't believe how insane the coverage of Connor McDavid. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I know I won't be getting a lot of that coverage in the U.S. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
From classic to loaded, pizza night starts at the Mad Greek Eatery. Order online, pick up or dine in. Check their menu at themadgreekeatery.com. We're already into the final segment with Mitchell Scruffy Blair, and he's going to do Deal or No Deal for us. NFL picks with Week 1 continuing tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mitch, I told you the rules, so let's go. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Los Angeles Chargers in Brazil. The Chiefs by 3.5. You taking that bet or not?
Yep.
You are. Me too. Should be easy. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday, getting things going. The Bucs favored by 1.5 on the road. Taking the deal or not?
Falcons to cover. Falcons to win straight up.
That is a no from Mitchell Scruffy, but I'll take the Bucs because I like my Baker. Pittsburgh at the New York Football Jets. Steelers favored by 2.5 with Aaron Rodgers in the return. Deal or no deal?
Taking Pittsburgh, I'll take the under.
I will go with the bet as well. We're both taking Pittsburgh. The Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, their head coach, 3-0 in Week 1's. Dolphins at the Colts. Dolphins by 1.5. Are you taking the bet?
Yep.
Me too. I absolutely am, but that's because the Colts are shambles. Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags favored by 3.5 at home. Taking the bet?
3.5?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to take Carolina there in a field goal game.
Okay, I'll take the Jags. The New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders favored by 5.5. This is it's an NFC East game, so to me that's riveting. Commanders favored by 5.5. You taking that?
That's in Washington?
Yes.
Yes, I'll take the Commanders.
Me as well. The Arizona Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints in Kellen Moore's debut as the head coach of the Saints. Cardinals favored by 6.5. Deal or no deal?
Arizona to win, but New Orleans to cover.
Same as me. So you're not taking the bet. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals favored by 5.5. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I got to go with Joe and crew to lay a whomping on the Browns.
I think they're going to light him up. To me, oddly fascinated by this game. Raiders at the Patriots. New England favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Yep, Mike Vrabel gets the Patriots going on the right foot. Not sold on the Raiders.
The game that you will be riveted to. San Francisco at Seattle. The 49ers favored by 1.5. Deal or no deal?
Funny, it was 3.5 until Christian McCaffrey's calf injury came up yesterday. 49ers aren't the same without Christian McCaffrey. Seattle wins that game straight up.
He is not taking the bet, nor am I. The Tennessee Titans, Moose's team at the Denver Broncos. Denver favored by 8.5. Deal or no deal?
Big spread at 8.5. Cam Ward's first game as an NFL starter. A lot of talk about the Broncos this year. I think Denver covers that, even though it's a big spread.
Yeah, the bettors will say, stay away from big spreads, but this one feels safe. Okay, NFC North battle. Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. The Pack favored by 1.5.
Oh, I'm taking Green Bay because I think Detroit's going to be the team that slides this year.
That's your
Green
surprise
Bay
team?
Okay. And Green Bay might be the best team in the NFC.
Houston Texans at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams favored by 3.5.
I will take the Rams, but if I see Jimmy Garoppolo warming up on the LA sideline, I may change my bet.
I'm not sure you can do that. I'm going with Danny Barrett and the Houston Texans because you're exactly right. That was mixed in with Roy Shivers, your buddy. Oh, Mitchell Blair.
I actually saw a video of that the other night again.
Why were you watching that? Why are you? Who should hire? Who should?
Send it to me.
Who should replace you, Roy Shivers? I don't know. Tom Terry, Mitchell Blair,
John Gormley, Mitchell Blair, Tom Terry,
Tom Terry. Sunday night. This is broadcasting gold, people. Do you realize it? Right in front of your eyes. Baltimore at Buffalo Sunday night. The Bills favored by 1.5.
Nope. I'm taking Baltimore.
Are you going to ride them all the way into the AFC Championship game?
I might.
Okay. You're a Ravens believer. Okay. I'm going with the Bills, and I actually have them going to the Super Bowl. And the Monday nighter is the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. This should not probably surprise you or anybody. The Vikings are favored on the road 1.5. Are you taking that deal or not?
I'm interested to see what the Bears are like with Johnson as their head coach and what he can do with Caleb Williams. J.J. McCarthy, after having a year off, what's he done? I'm going to take Chicago on week 1. But I'm not confident with that.
All right. Mitchell is not taking the bet, but I will. I'm a J.J. McCarthy fan. It is his first NFL start.
Well, I am too, because he went to Michigan.
Michigan. Well, now that I have you here, thanks for that. I don't see the big blue in the upper echelon of the college rankings right now. Mitchell, what's your take going into week 2?
Well, they won their opening week game. They beat New Mexico State, so that was their cupcake on the schedule. It gets a little tougher for them this week. They're on the road, an SEC opponent. They go to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. I think they cover the 6.5-point spread. I think Michigan's a lot better than what a lot of people are giving them credit for. They're not going to be a Big Ten title team, but I think they make the tournament.
Are you liking the changes in college football? Because there have been a lot over the past couple of years. You're liking what we're seeing here in 2025?
So far, I like what we're seeing. I like the fact now that we're getting, and everything's going to be subjective because of rankings and that, but I like the fact that it's not just basically a poll that determines a winner, and that it's 4 teams that determine a winner. The fact that Alabama lost to Florida State last week, that's going to hurt them. The fact that Notre Dame lost to Miami last week, that's going to hurt them. If you lose to a quality opponent now, it's going to cost you. And before that, it didn't used to do that. So I like what we're seeing. We'll see what happens. You're going to be going back to a gold mine because they are loving it that Florida State, Florida, and Miami are all in the top 15. So you're going to be loving it when you head back to the States. If you think that college football was crazy before, Roddy, you haven't seen anything yet with those 3 teams in the top 15.
I'm assuming you watched the Miami-Notre Dame game Sunday night?
No, I didn't. I didn't see a lot of that because I was watching the Rider game. But I did catch the end of it, and I was surprised because I thought Mario Cristobal would find a way to lose that for Miami like he always does, and they didn't this time. So we'll see what happens. But I think there's going to be a lot of very good college football games on tap, and I think the one we've got Oklahoma and Michigan this week. You want an upset? Take Northern Illinois to maybe beat Maryland tonight. They'll cover the 17.5-point spread.
Well, it's amazing when we talk about changes in college football. I was talking to an agent the other day. I had not seen this reported anywhere, but had you heard that Arch Manning is making $7 million this year in NIL money? Which, when you think about it, doesn't really surprise me, but it's still astounding.
I hadn't heard that figure, but I have heard that it was making around between 4 and 5.
$7 million, according to this. Again, I mean, I don't believe anything that I hear anymore. But if Carson Beck is making $4 million in Miami, which is 5th-ranked team. Yep. Arch Manning started out as number 1, dropped to 7th, and I'm actually going to talk about that in my sports update coming up next. They got San Jose State in there in Austin. Yeah, what do you got?
One other thing before I let you go. If you're a fan of looking at neg list guys, James Madison plays tonight. They have a quarterback by the name of Alonzo Barrett. He's got CFL written all over him, and he is property of your Saskatchewan Roughriders.
I got this shirt at Ultimate Fan Zone, by the way. Mitch, when you're looking to get your obsidian green rider gear, that's the place to go, Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Okay, break your leg tonight, Mitch. Have fun there at Leibel Field. Should be a doozy.
All right, safe trip back to Florida, pal.
Thank you, and keep in touch. And again, thanks for coming out last night to Pump Jacks. I appreciate you. Mitchell Scruffy Blair with us. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. Jim Barker coming up in hour 2 here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the RP Show on a Football Friday. And just you and me for the next 40 minutes. We can certainly handle that just fine, but I'm going to need you to help me out. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line number, and I want to thank Western Dodge, Moose Jaw's go-to for Ram trucks and Jeep adventures. You guessed it, Western Dodge. Stop in today. I'll be returning my Dodge Hornet. They gave me the use of all summer long this afternoon, and we just had so much fun there. And I love that they put on the RP Show on the television in the service department. Rob came by yesterday. He's in the detailing department. He's like, Rod, you guys look so good on there today. When Rob Carney was on, to be honest, I think that's a Skycron thing. I do think it's producer Corey and his company because we're not using any different equipment on my end. But good job, Corey. They're noticing in Moose Jaw. I've had a wonderful summer here. I want to thank everybody. But it is time to go home. Looking forward to that, too. Fresh looks, fan favorites, and RP Show exclusives, all at rodpeterson.com. Click on the RP Show store. rodpeterson.com. Click on RP Show store to order yours. Hats, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, all the rest. I want to say this to Eric, who I believe is watching in BC. He took a photo of a bunny hug, as we say in Sask, a hoodie, a gray one with Rod Pedersen Show on the front. And he put the BC Lions big play chain on it and a hat. It actually looked really good. It was a gray hoodie with Lions gear, and he tweeted it. And I, just so you know, Eric in BC, I posted that to Instagram, and Amar Doman liked it. The owner of the BC Lions. So that's pretty cool. And the reason I'm wearing the Rider shirt today is I love the gear. To be honest, I didn't really want to overpay for any because I'm cheap. And I was down at Ultimate Fan Zone yesterday talking to Billy. I wanted to get some Vegas Golden Knights gear because we're going to Vegas TV beginning September 29th. And I'm like, what do you got for Rider Obsidian Green stuff, Billy? Oh, I got something just for you. Workout shirt. And I don't think I'm going to wear this to work out. I don't want to ruin it. I stink. Before I get to a sports update here, something caught my eye on the news, the game notes. I'm going to get down and dirty here with the CFL stuff. So the CFL fans, pay attention. Especially those of you in our demographic of 55 plus age. I think you're going to find this pretty cool. And you too, Kevin the Medium, just because you're a BC Lions fan. Nathan Rourke, BC's quarterback, is set to make his 30th career start tonight at Ottawa. He has a 17-12 record, winning percentage of .586. And in the game notes here, it says, here's how he stands among Canadian quarterbacks all time. And with 55 more passing yards, he can pass Don Getty into the number 3 spot. Yeah, Don Getty, the Edmonton Eskimo great and former premier of Alberta. Do you remember those days? As I went down the rabbit hole of CFL history, reading Darryl Slade's book on the Calgary Stampeders, the Stampeders Special, 1948 season, just this summer I've been reading it. I'm like, what a time to be alive. And I remember thinking, but back then, not now. I think they had it way better back then. It's a better time to be alive then. I don't think any of you would agree or disagree. But I'm like, Normie Kwong, I was a CFL guy for a long time, but Normie Kwong was playing in the 40s, okay? And I'm like, why is this guy such a big deal? I didn't really know. I knew he was a big deal. But I'm like, his name's up on the wall in Edmonton, but I'm pretty sure it's up on the wall in Calgary too. And then I got reading in the book, and he played for both. Now, he didn't go on to be premier, right, Normie Kwong, but he did hold a high stature in government. I'm getting off track. Number 1, Russ Jackson, the greatest Canadian quarterback of all time. Ain't nobody going to argue that. 1958 to 1969 with Ottawa, 24,593 career passing yards. He ain't ever being caught. Nope, not by anybody. I can confidently say that. He's never being caught. Russ Jackson. Number 2, Jerry Detello. Played for Montreal and Calgary from 1975 to 85. He's second all-time in passing yards, a paltry 15,000 yards behind Russ. And then you got Don Getty. When men were men was when Don Getty roamed the earth. As a quarterback of the Edmonton Eskimos. 8,950 yards. And at 8,896 is Nathan Rourke. So he's doing some cool things. Frank, just so you know, as we're sitting here talking about it, Frank Cosentino. I don't think he's related to Sam Cosentino, but maybe. Probably is, actually. He's 5th, played in Hamilton, Edmonton, and Toronto from 1960 to 1969. And number 6 is Trey Ford, currently of the Edmonton Eskimos. But it was funny yesterday when Rob Carney was sitting right beside me, and Carnes is like, yeah, I like history. Sports history. Not real history, but sports history. I'm, oh, yeah, there is a difference. Let me pause this for a second and do a sports update for UFC Moose Jaw. The good news for the Texas Longhorns, there are opportunities to improve the next 3 weeks after their week 1 loss at Ohio State. And it's not against elite competition. The Longhorns dropped from the preseason number 1 ranking to number 7 in this week's top 25 AP poll. And they don't face another Power 4 opponent until a trip to number 13 Florida on October the 4th. First come home games against San Jose State tomorrow, UTEP, and then Sam Houston. That's just one of the storylines as college football is into week 2. We opened the show talking about this. Philadelphia's Jalen Carter is apologizing after being ejected for spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. The incident came seconds into the Eagles' 24-20 win in Thursday night's NFL opener. Carter was flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct, setting up a Dallas touchdown on the opening drive. So Mitch and I opened the show talking about this. And by the way, the sports update is brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone. Dress like a fan, not a spectator. Ultimate Fan Zone Moose Jaw has everything you need: jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more. Start shopping now online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Now, I get up this morning, and one of the very first things on my phone was this article from USA Today that said, headline, spitting incident mars NFL opener. I'm like, no, it didn't. It mars it if you want it to, but not me. And I mean, that's my team. That was my guy. Well, Dak Prescott's not my guy, but he's the quarterback of my team that he got spit on. And on all of that, are you seeing a lesson in this? I'm glad to have you, Kevin, the medium, riding shotgun here. And just Kevin writes in and says, can you imagine the numbers Nathan Rourke will be able to put up if he plays another 10 years? It'll be unbelievable. History repeats itself, and we're going to have to carry this over into hour 2. But if you're not, back to that topic of the Cowboys spitting incident last night against the Eagles, if you're paying attention to, because sports does mirror life. You all understand that, right? I hope that you do. So last night, we're seeing the video of Jalen Carter spitting on Dallas Cowboys quarterback Troy Aikman. He's always going to be the Dallas Cowboys quarterback to me, Dak Prescott. But then video emerges that Dak Prescott spat first. Boys, how about we don't spit at all? You're not supposed to spit on turf, which I assume it's turf in Philadelphia, but as opposed to natural grass. Oh, it's turned into a Seinfeld episode. The second spitter. Anyways, I don't think it marred the game at all. I never thought about it again until USA Today's out there trying to start something. The point being, if you care, Jalen Carter gets the 15-yard penalty, kicked out of the game, because it was very clear that he spat on Dak Prescott. And Dak, by the way, he spat, but in the general direction of Jalen Carter, but not on him. But it certainly sparked quite a debate amongst those of us that were watching at Pump Jacks last night with our NFL kickoff party. We're like, that's illegal, you know. You can get charged with assault for spitting on somebody. I told a story of I was announcing an MMA event. If you can believe, I announced MMA. It's a rather wild crowd that shows up at an MMA event, in case you didn't know. And some guy, yes, Corey's like, word, producer Corey. Some guy was getting kicked out of this show I was doing. Cops had him cuffed, put a bag over his head, a mesh bag. I'm like, I've never seen that before. Why are you guys doing that? Because he's been known to spit on people. That's why we're, ew. And the guy got charged with assault. Jenna writes in from Southern California, says, I was very proud of the Dallas of the Dallas defense, but that offense should have stepped up more, especially Dak. Where was his running the ball plays? And Jenna says Dak did spit first. That's the whole point, though, that we can move this into hour 2, where sports should still mirror life. People can say whatever they want to you, whether it's coming out of the stands, whether it's on the field of play. You gotta hold it together at all costs. You do. Dak Prescott, 100 guys spit on the grass last night, including Dak. but only one spat on another guy, Jalen Carter. So that's the debate, and then that could have been a good question. What should the suspension be? 1, 2, 3, 4 games? My guess? That's a tough one. As a matter of fact, think about that and write in 902-518-3033. Secondary poll here. What should Jalen Carter get for discipline for spitting on Dak Prescott last night? I'm thinking 1 game. A fine's not sufficient. Jim Barker will join us next hour. It's going to be big fun. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, streaming and Mission Radio.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
It's hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. It is Football Friday. You should know that by now, I would think, on episode number 1570 of the RP Show. Daytime sports talk brought to you in part by the Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw, where I got this beautiful obsidian green Saskatchewan Roughriders third shirt. Yeah, I'm doing it. It's, by the way, our last day in Saskatchewan. Our last hour here at the Golden Ticket Sports Center. We'll be broadcasting back from Florida come Monday, and very much looking forward to getting home, but had a wonderful summer here in Canada. Quick 6 show topics from an hour ago. Re-upping what we've been talking about on the program today. The very big story is this. Thursday night football, the NFL season opener. Jalen Hurts rushed for 2 touchdowns as the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles opened the NFL season with a 24-20 win over the rival Dallas Cowboys. Pretty good game. Only 3 points were played in the second half. The wild game featured a weather delay, a late game-saving defensive stop from Philadelphia, and an ugly moment when star Eagles defender Jalen Carter spit on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott after they raised the Super Bowl banner. It was after the first play of the game. That happened. And no, I don't believe or agree with the USA Today that incident overshadowed the game. I mean, at least as much overshadowing it was CeeDee Lamb's 3 drops in the second half for the Dallas Cowboys. But it's got, whether it's overshadowed the game or not, there's probably more talk outside Dallas of Jalen Carter being kicked out of the game for spitting on Dak. So I'm asking the viewers here, because it's not our poll question. We're going to get to that. I'm asking the viewers, what should Jalen Carter get for this? I'm thinking a 1-game suspension would be suffice. Jenna is watching in California, says 1-game suspension plus a fine. I agree with you, but I don't think that's a thing. Usually a fine, varying degrees of the fine is the first level, and then you go to a suspension. I don't think I ever know. People don't get both. It's not a bad idea, though. The Barflies tunes in and says, if it was in Dallas, the spitter would have been on the grassy knoll. I know, right? For those that just tuned in for hour 2, video evidence has surfaced that Dak Prescott actually spat first, just not on Jalen Carter, but in his general direction, but he wasn't trying to spit on him. So all I'm saying was, as I was wrapping up hour 1, is this not just a little microcosm of society? Don't rush to judgment. It's all. But I still think, provoked or not, he should get 1 game. Rich in Edmonton says maybe more if it was unprovoked. Yeah, the guy spit at him. I mean, it's tough, man. This is the one thing people don't understand if you haven't been around footballers. It's a violent game played by violent people. So to expect them to hold their emotions, it's very hard for them to do. John Barker, writing in from the Pacific Northwest, his brother Jim joins us in the next segment and says, Dak not only spit in his direction, but then kind of gave him a nod and a grin to taunt him. Granted, no excuse for JC spitting on him, but come on, I thought Dak should be disciplined too. Well, I mean, again, video of Dak spitting first didn't surface until way later in the game. I think during the weather delay. Those officials threw the flag 15 yards. What I'm saying again is, what a lesson here in life to not rush to judgment. The quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I'm just not, y'all know, I'm not a Dak Prescott fan, certainly not as a player. And Jenna wrote in here and said, what about his play last night? Look, Dak was throwing bombs. He was putting them right on CeeDee Lamb, and he dropped 2 egregious ones and a third on the final drive that he at least got his hands on. Coach Barker, if you're watching this, I want your take on this adage that if you can touch it, you should be able to catch it. I don't know whether that's true or not. I never played football. It seems right, but that's always been the adage. If you can touch it, you should have caught it. Then if that's the case, then CeeDee has 3 drops. The poll question is this: as we move to the Canadian Football League, Ottawa Redblacks look to stop a 2-game skid and stay alive in the CFL East tonight when they entertain the BC Lions. Ottawa's last in the East at 3-8. The BC Lions are 4th in the West at 5-6. It's Friday night football, and the Lions are looking to bounce back after a setback against Toronto. So so that's the first game today of the week, and then Saturday it's a triple header. So our poll question is, and dag nabbit was Mitchell Blair an hour ago good in explaining this, or at least talking about it with me. The poll question is, do you like CFL triple headers? For me, it's a no, because I'm not going to sit and watch 9 hours of anything. I don't like it. I mean, but as Mitch said, hey, we do it on Sundays with the NFL and don't bitch, so why are we bitching on a Saturday in the CFL? And secondly, he went on to say, from a CFL league perspective, it's like, you don't want us playing on Sundays, so we got to play on Saturday with a triple header. What do you want? So all I'm saying is, no, I don't like the triple header. What I do like is a game a day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I also understand that's not feasible in the second half. But it's not a yeah, but. I hate the yeah, but crowd. It's a no. If you got to check a box, yes or no. No, I don't like it because I watch way more football when it's a game a day over 4 days. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Rob in Las Vegas writes in, and he says the aftermath from last night's game is becoming a Seinfeld episode. Right, which is what I mentioned last hour. There's a second spitter. Ken in Mississauga writes in, he says, I would watch 9 hours of this show live. Don't give them any ideas. 2 hours is enough. 902-518-3033. Arlen Bruce III writes in, he says, the sad part of all this spitting he did, he might get an endorsement deal for spits. He should be suspended for 3 to 6 games. The Shiloh Sanders incident wasn't that bad. I'm saying 1 game, and for those that don't know, spits are Canadian sunflower seeds produced in Lethbridge, Alberta. 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge. That's the text line. By the way, on this question, do you like CFL triple headers? 60% of you saying yes. 60% of you saying yes. Now, the sucky thing for me is I will be in the air for almost all of tomorrow because it takes a long time to get from Western Canada to South Florida. I'm not going to be able to watch much of it at all. But that's life. Laverne writes in Swift Current, from Swift Current, 902-518-3033, says they're calling it Spitgate. Oh, my goodness. Give Jalen Carter a game and carry on. We all know it's who retaliates that usually gets the fine or the suspension. That's the thing, and that's what's great about and terrible about shows like this. It's just opinions. There's not much Dak Prescott could do less than winning a Super Bowl that would make me a fan of his. So I don't like the fact that the quarterback of my team, America's team, has instigated this by spitting. But that's me. That's my opinion. That's my bias. Bomber Boy writes in and says, basically, it's a doubleheader Saturday. Nobody will be watching the late game anyways. Wrong, and you're just being a troll. The triple header Saturday in the Canadian Football League is Hamilton at Montreal. Ticats favored by 3. Sask at Winnipeg in the Banjo Bowl. Bombers favored by 1. And Calgary at Edmonton. Do they have a name for that game? It's the Labor Day Classic rematch. Ooh, tantalizing. Calgary Stampeders at the Edmonton Elcamos. Kind of wondering what the crowd will be for that at Edmonton. It's been a long road back. And if Jim Barker, for the Edmonton football team, and if Jim Barker's watching right now, that's another thing I want to ask him about is this rebuild in Calgary, if that's what it was. How many games they win last year? 4? Jeff, the Stamps fan, help me out with that. And all of a sudden, they are probably the best team in the CFL a half a season later. We did examine that earlier this week with John Bender. And it wasn't just small tweaks, man. Fired 3 coaches, swapped out quarterbacks. You know, somebody wrote in here and talked about Adam Bighill, but didn't he just make his debut the other day? He hasn't had that big of an impact on this Calgary Stampeders team, not as much as I would say as Derek Moncrief. Drafted Damian Alford, number 1. They've won 5. Thank you, Taylor. They won 5 last year. So From that to this is pretty remarkable. And then you got Edmonton up there that's been terrible for a decade. I would be pissed off if I was them. Carlos in Indianapolis says, didn't they have a quadruple header once? I don't remember. That's the easy answer to that. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta says, I voted no on the poll. Do you like CFL triple headers? But I have to admit, I watch NFL triple headers every Sunday from morning to night, plus the pregame show. That's like my favorite part of Sundays is the pregame shows, the countdown shows, NFL Countdown, Fox NFL Sunday. That plus 9 hours of football. Nobody bitches about that. There's a lot of bitching going on around the CFL. That's not new. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in regarding me returning to Florida. He says, you're leaving for Florida already? That's a very early snowbird. That's because I'm not a snowbird. That's where my house is. That's my home. I don't know what the opposite of a snowbird is, coming back here to broadcast baseball in the summer, but whatever that is, that's me. Ken, but it's 11:11. 11:11 Mountain, 1:11 Eastern. Please, please, please visualize a positive outcome to your current problem. It actually works. Believe it or not, it works. Oh, my God. Jim can talk about this, Jim Barker. Carlos writes in from Indianapolis and says, I'd figure those triple headers are rough on the production staff and main desk personalities. Oh, yeah. I have a lot of respect for those guys and gals that sit there and do that all night. What the hell are we talking about here, Kirk from Toronto? I don't have no idea what you're talking about, Kirk. Who are you talking about in your text? Can you clarify that, please? Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, words of wisdom, Rod. What is? I forgot what I said already. Couple things from the CFL game notes, by the way, that caught my eye. Nobody will clinch a playoff spot yet in the CFL, but Saskatchewan's 2 wins away from doing so. They're the closest to doing it. Yes, I'm wearing Obsidian green gear today because I like the gear. Nathan Rourke starts tonight for the BC Lions at Ottawa. He's 17-12 career. He needs 55 yards to pass Don Getty for number 3 all-time for Canadian quarterbacks in the CFL. Again, when men were men, was when Don Getty roamed the earth as quarterback of the Edmonton Eskimos. Proud name, proud franchise. Don Getty, man, went on to be premier. John Burns writes in. He super chats. Thank you. He says, NFL spit? Talk about a gross misconduct penalty. Oh, we've been talking about it a lot, but to be honest, not as much as other shows because I don't like to sit and belabor things. I think you noticed that. We have talked about it. We're moving on because there's so many other things to talk about. Rich, thank you. The 11:11 advice. Yeah, I got a lot. Sometimes it's hard to live by your own advice. Sometimes I have to remind myself that. Practice what you preach, Rod. Listen to your own advice. So I do. Visualize a positive outcome instead of always going to the worst case scenario. That's kind of the whole thing. It does work. Rob in Las Vegas writes in. He says, I love living in the Pacific time zone and can start watching NFL football at 10 a.m. on Sundays. That's the bad part about going back to the East. That's the only thing I don't like about living in the Eastern time zone is the sports. I'm going to vow to stay up later and get up later. That's what I'm going to have to do. Because Wayne Werbavetsky writes in. He says, triple headers are too much to watch. Poll question is, do you like CFL triple headers? He goes, why not play one game on Saturday in the Labor Day weekend? There was no Thursday game, no Friday game, nothing till Sunday. It is what it is, as we covered earlier. It's like, you don't want us to play Sunday against the NFL. What are we supposed to do? By the way, for the benefit of those watching, because we are on Canadian Television Game Plus, there are 3 Canada West football games tonight. The UBC Thunderbirds are at the Saskatchewan Huskies. Moose is calling that. It's going to be a packed house at Griffith Stadium. Alberta Golden Bears at Regina Rams tonight. Scruffy's calling that game on Canada West TV out of Leibel Field. And also tonight, the Manitoba Bisons are at Calgary. I'm going to watch Maddox Schultz, the next Jonathan Taves, the next Sidney Crosby, they say, for the Regina Pats preseason game tonight. I think they got Swift Current in there, but it doesn't matter. We're going to watch God's team. Why? Because that's what I want to do. We have a lot of questions coming up for Jim Parker. He joins us next.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're brought to you in part in hour 2 by Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. From strategic communications to leadership training and conversational content, we help your message connect and inspire. Outlaw Communications. All right, Jim Barker's a bit of an outlaw. Can we start with the NFL, Coach? What do you think
We can
Jalen
start
Carter?
with, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What do you think he should get?
Where else do you start? First of
Yeah,
all,
you
that
got to
was
start
a
there.
fantastic football game for 3.5 till the delay, and it came back and it was just like they just wanted to get out of there. But that first half and a half was fantastic. The spitting event, I think what you're missing is if you watch the tape of what instigated it was when Dak started to walk out of the huddle and he spit. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was an offensive lineman that moved right in front of it. Now, if he would have spit on that guy's forearm, with that his own player, trying to make the point to Jalen, who was over there talking smack to a rookie offensive lineman, I guess. But if that spit would have hit him and he would have gone like that right away, would he have been penalized? I don't know. It was his own team.
Yeah.
But it was done. Again, it was as soon as I saw that, I thought, I wonder what happens if Dak Prescott would have spit on his offensive lineman. Because if he didn't, he came within a hair of spitting on him. And again, I noticed that as soon as you could see the spit go, the guy's arm came right in, his shoulder pad came right in front of him. So it's possible he got it on his hand or whatever. I don't know, but I think that would be interesting. Again, I've seen this kind of thing. I disagree with you. I don't think there should be a suspension. I think he missed that game. He was ejected he didn't get a chance to play one play. And again, I think he's remorseful for it. And right, wrong, and different. He missed an important game, and they almost lost the game. And again, I don't think it was worthy of suspension.
Well, I'm terrible at that. I don't know. If that happens in the street, you're getting charged with assault. That's all. But he did apologize, and that does mean something too. So I'm with you on that. But I'm kind of tired of the Eagles and the Cowboys. So how about the Chiefs and the Chargers in Brazil tonight? What do you think is going to go down there?
Well, one other thing. We get lost in Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts played as outstanding a quarterback as you can play in a first game. I was just so impressed with how Jalen Hurts played in every aspect. His ability to run and find seams was unmatched. I mean, I was totally blown away by how well he played. So I don't want to lose it all in Dak Prescott's spit that we forget about Jalen Hurts and what a great first game. The game tonight is really interesting because the Chargers are the team I think have a chance to make some noise. And this would be a great way for them to start. Again, I don't know. I think Kansas City is going to be improved. And I've picked them to go I've picked them to go against Philadelphia all the way. So it's a tough one, but I think this game's really interesting because it matches physicalities. Jim Harbaugh wants his team to be physical. That Kansas defense, Spags, the one thing about Spags, they're physical. They get after you up front. And so I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that. Actually, I have to say, I mean, the CFL had an unbelievable weekend, and this is kind of like, how do you match what they did last weekend? With those 2 of the 3 games were off the charts. The Saskatchewan Rough Rider interception on the 2-point play to tie the game and then you answer that by a team scoring with 18 seconds left, behind by 5.
Oh, that was unbelievable.
Kickoff, 12 seconds left, and you lose the football game. Now, that's unbelievable stuff. So my point is tonight it's going to be hard to not watch the Chiefs and Chargers and to watch 2 of the worst teams in the league and BC's defense. Their offense is one of the best, but BC's defense is awful against Ottawa, who is, again, the worst team in the league right now, in my opinion.
Before we flip this to the CFL, I really want to know your take on this. NFL sending me their info now, which is awesome. Andy Reid has 17 week one victories. That's the most by any active coach. More week one victories, 17 of them. And Harbaugh. You mentioned Harbaugh. He's won 5 straight week ones. And Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins is 3-0 in week ones. What does that say about their coaching?
Well, I think they prepare. A lot of people prepare understanding that week one you have a lot of questions. I think those guys don't. They know exactly what they want their team to be. Maybe there's a few spots they don't know who they want, but they've been preparing the whole offseason to get ready for this. So their teams come out ready and prepared. I thought last night both teams came out very prepared. I think Dallas's lack of a pass rush showed big time. Did they stop the run? I don't know. I mean, Jalen Hurts hurt him worse than Saquon did, but I don't know. It's how you prepare your team in the preseason. And the Bengals, we're going to watch because Zach Taylor's he's had his team start terrible. They go into Cleveland this week, and they played Joe Burrow. They played him quite a bit. I mean, he played the first 2 preseason games. So what's that going to do for them? Are they going to come out of the gate, on fire? Or are they going to come out like they have the last 3 years and, take a dump in the bed? I mean, you just don't know. But Zach Taylor had to change his offseason because I think he's a dark horse to be on the hot seat in a hurry if things don't go well for them. You lose to Cleveland, you're looking down the barrel of, the stuff's going to start a lot sooner than you think Zach Taylor's not the right guy to be here. We're not going to do it with him if they lose that opening game to Cleveland. So I think it's a huge game for them because of how they start. You talk about how guys start. Harbaugh, Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid, you have to say right now, is the number 1 coach in the NFL. Without question. He knows how to prepare teams. He's won, 17 in a row. You got that out of game notes.
17 total, but yeah.
How long I don't know how many years he's been in it, but still, that shows a guy knows how to prepare a team. And Harbaugh with 5, same thing. They know how to prepare.
Yeah,
they know how to prepare a team.
Chief Johnny is watching in Winnipeg. He says, Rod, I'll wager you a Dairy Queen Blizzard or an ice cap that the Bombers win on Saturday. How about a Slurpee since you're in Winnipeg? Winnipeg's the Slurpee capital. I haven't had a Slurpee all summer. I had too many Blizzards. I've had like 12. Let's do a Slurpee. But I picked Winnipeg to win. I know I'm wearing the Riders shirt because I just bought this yesterday at Ultimate Fan Zone. I really like the colors. What's your take on the Banjo Bowl?
I'm real worried for the Bombers. Dalton Schoen, he goes back down. He got hurt again in the game or I re-aggravated something. And that defensive line of Saskatchewan, that defensive front has basically dominated. The Saskatchewan front has dominated everybody they play outside of Calgary. So I thought they were pretty dominant, even though Winnipeg came back and had a chance at the end. I think this is going to be a tougher game for Winnipeg I know they're favored, but there's a lot of question marks there. That offensive line just doesn't have the same the same swagger. I'm going to say swagger, just like their defense. I don't think their defense has the swagger that they've had in the past 5 years. And I think Saskatchewan has that. So it's going to be interesting. I would pick Saskatchewan and take the point in this game just based on that first game. I know how it goes, and they should come out, but just a combination of the way that Winnipeg came back, then didn't win it. I think this game is for Hamilton. They travel to Montreal, and Montreal's coming off of a bye. I think this is a tough game for them. I mean, to be able to get points at home for Montreal, I get They're playing James Morgan at quarterback. But he's going to have Philpott back. He's going to have Austin Mack back. He's going to have a lot of pieces back for him. And that game in Hamilton, if you don't think those kind of games really affect a football team, I mean, that was you go from the absolute, your crowd's going nuts, 18 seconds, 12 seconds, they get the ball back and end up losing the game the way they lost it. That's tough. That's tough to come back from. So I think that's a tough game for Hamilton going in there off that game, short week, and playing a team coming off of a bye. If Montreal wins, we're all even in the East. And it's just like I said, if Toronto was to beat Hamilton, it throws the East into a schmozzle. I mean, anybody could win it. And that's exactly what's happening. So that game, I think, is the Montreal game. Again, I hate the 3 games in a day. I'm with you. I hate watching it. I hate working it. I really do. I just, there's got to be, I would rather, and I get going up against the NFL on opening night, but if you look at history on Sundays during the season, they do play some. And when they do 5 o'clock kickoffs, kind of in between the NFL stuff, they get the numbers are real good. And I haven't seen a lot of TV numbers this year, which makes me think the TV numbers may be down because if they were up, you'd be seeing it every week. So again, I don't know what they are, but I think that 3 games in a day is tough because nobody can sit there and watch 3 hours of that.
Dunk says the ratings are good, better than good, but I haven't seen them. That's just what Justin told me on the other day. You just mentioned about the triple headers, announcing them. Carlos in Indianapolis says, to follow up, how rough are the triple headers on the TV production side? All I will say on this, before I ask you about Brett Leather, I do a lot of work with the military on mental strength. So what I will say is, you're not crawling through the sand being shot at with nothing but a ham sandwich in your back pocket for the whole day. I think we can sit here for 9 hours or maybe 11 to watch football and talk about it. So quit your bitching. Not you, but anybody else. Give me a freaking break. It's football, okay? Grow up.
Okay.
Not you, but everybody else.
I get
people
it.
Said to me,
I get
people
it.
said to me,
I'm just
Rod,
telling you.
This isn't at you.
Hey, I understand that. If you did what you're doing for 9 straight hours, even if you could get up and go take a break for, a while, and it's just, I mean, it's just not fun. It makes it not as fun. Is it funner than what you talk about? Absolutely. I bet it's better than being in doing those things. But
I have a lot of friends say to me, Rod, you can't use the military as a baseline for your mental strength. And I say, why not? Okay. Brett Leather is a big topic here. If you were his coach, I think he's at 66% on field goals. How would you be handling that?
I keep bringing him up I wouldn't talk a lot about it. I might bring a guy in the way they did to compete during practice and that kind of thing. He's either going to get out of it or he's not, and it's only going to happen in games. The practice stuff that's good, and it's good to have somebody ready so that when you make that decision, you make the decision. But a guy who's done as much as he's done in his career deserves the opportunity to play himself out of it. And I know Liram Hajrullahu, he got basically run out of Winnipeg, and we picked him up in Toronto, and he just needed a change of venue. I don't know. I mean, it's Leggio. The same thing happened. He said they're both out of just two examples out of Winnipeg, where they didn't think he could do it anymore. Comes to Hamilton, he's become their most consistent kicker ever. So again, I think it's one of those things with kickers. So much of it is mental, and he's either going to work his way out of it or he's not. And that's where guys like Corey Mace, they'll feel how it affects their football team. When you have enough drives where you get the ball down there or you recover a fumble in the other end, the offense goes 2 and out and you have to kick a field goal and then miss that field goal, that drains your football team. And there comes a point when the coach says, this is affecting our football team. We're making a change. But you don't make a change and then go back. I mean, once they make a change, it's permanent. So, it's a little bit like Trey Ford and Cody.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Once they made that change, it was they're with Cody the rest of the way unless he gets hurt. And Trey Ford will get his chance, potentially, but you can't keep 2 kickers on the roster. So, again, personally, I would play it out, and I think he'll work his way out of it. And as soon as a team completely believes in him again, and he gets a game winner or whatever, I think he'll be okay. I really do.
And the fans will all be off his back too. But that's what it's going to take. I mean, you've been around this league a long time. Used to be they would bring in Don Sweet for a week, and your kicker would be fixed. I don't know if Don's even still alive. What I do know is the Riders do have a mental strength coach. They have one. Whether it's being effective or not, I don't know.
Well, it's not with him.
No, it's no. Okay, you said it. Week 2 of college football. Before I let you go, how big is it for Arch Manning? Longhorns got San Jose State in there.
Well, it's good because maybe he can get some confidence back because, I mean, people are riding him like crazy. There's only the good news for the triple header on CFL. There's only one game worth watching in college football. I mean, I can't watch Iowa State. I really can't. Is Michigan, Oklahoma, Saturday night up against Calgary and Edmonton. And Calgary and Edmonton still has some interest, even though it was the most boring of the Labor Day games. That still tweaks some interest. But that's the only game that I see on the entire card on the second week, because a lot of these teams play these hard teams and they come back and they play San Jose State. And last week, Michigan plays, it wasn't New Mexico State, it was New Mexico. And this week, North Carolina, Mike Lombardi and Bill Belichick and their band of whatever they have together get to play Charlotte. Now, you don't think that's a pressure game. Should Bill Belichick lose to Charlotte, which would be a long shot, but you never know.
Yeah.
But, that's what teams do. They play teams like that they can, that have no budget. And these guys have spent, I'm sure, $20 million. And so it's that to me is interesting. But CFL fans don't have to worry. There's not going to be a college game that you're going to want to be watching. If you want to watch the Hamilton game,
watch it.
I got it. The Hamilton game, game 2.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. We fresh out of time with the coach, but that was a good one. That was a real good one. We'll be back with viewer takeover and sports update after this.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We got some good stuff here. Some things I want to circle back on, and Jim Young is watching out in Armstrong, British Columbia, the Hall of Fame BC Lions receiver. He's sent a nice selfie, but actually I think his wife took it because he's going like this in the photo. Unfortunately, I can't get it up on the air, but I'll take my word for it. He's got a Vancouver Canucks workout shirt on and a Team Canada hat. Jim Young in Armstrong, BC, Dirty 30. He writes in and he says, I always thought the wisdom is if you touch it, if you touched it, you can catch it, or you should catch it. So thank you, Jim. I didn't get that wrong. And he says, being housebound, I am liking the triple header. I mean, yeah, I guess if you got nowhere to go or nothing else to do, 9 hours of football is just fine. And I wrote him back and said, looking sharp. And Dirty 30 has written me, and he said, thanks, Rod. You too. Roar, you Lions. It was a great thrill getting the opportunity to meet Jim Young at Grey Cup last year. You're my kind of guy, Jim. And that's the other thing. I apologize for losing my temper. I don't clearly very often. But I needed to nip this in the bud. This whole, oh my God, 9 hours of football on the panel. Hang on. You're watching football all day, and you're talking about it in a highly, highly coveted role. There'd be a lot of people wishing to be in your seat, and Jim wasn't complaining. I feel like some people were. So one day out of the week? So yeah, there's the military thing, but what about the guy that's fixing the power line in minus 40 going up? Boo, boo. What about the cop who may never come home every day when he leaves the house, that never knows? I'm sorry, I got a problem with it. And I guess I quite often get asked by young broadcasters, explain your longevity, but what's the secret? I don't know. Showing up every day is a pretty good place to start. It's a long day. Okay. Producer Corey says, word. What about the cattle producers that don't get a day off? That's the way I was raised. I'm not saying it's right. It's just the way that I was raised. I'm sorry. Jason in Red Deer writes in. He says, hey, a lot of us work 9 hours a day every day. LOL. I know. I just don't have a lot of time for it. Sports update for Ultimate Fan Zone, where I got this obsidian green workout shirt, and I'm going to be smart enough not to ruin it by working out in it. Kevin Gausman gets the ball tonight as the Blue Jays open a big 3-game series against the Yankees in New York. The Blue Jays lead the Yankees by 3 atop the American League East with an 81-59 record. New York will counter with righty Cam Schlittler. The Ottawa Redblacks look to snap a 2-game skid and get back in the Eastern playoff race when they host the BC Lions. Ottawa sits last in the East at 3-8. Lions fourth in the West at 5-6. The NFL is in Brazil for the second time as the Kansas City Chiefs meet the LA Chargers in Sao Paulo. It's the second. Is Sal Palantonio going to be there covering that game for ESPN? Sal Palantonio in Sao Paulo. It's the second game of the season after the Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys last night, 24-20, to kick off the 2025 campaign. The sports update is brought to you by UFZ Moose Jaw. And we had big fun with Billy last night from UFC. Collectors, listen up. Hockey cards, autographs, and fan memorabilia, all at Ultimate Fan Zone. Don't wait. Shop ultimatefanzone.ca. We'll be coming back with overtime here in a second. Colin in Ottawa writes in and he says, Wichita Lineman is a great song, Roddy. Thank you to all power line technicians that keep the lights on no matter the conditions. Glenn Campbell. I was a lineman for the county. 2 kinds of music I like. Country and Western. You don't even see those guys bitching. And yet we're going to talk about having to sit on a panel for 9 hours of football. To be clear, nobody is bitching in that role. How this started was people say it must be tough doing that. And I jumped on it fast. Oh, yeah. From Corey Patterson watching in Tallahassee says, don't forget, RP, your number 14 ranked Florida State Seminoles play at noon tomorrow. I know, and I'll be in the air. We'll be right back with overtime, everybody, right after this here on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and 1700 AM streaming radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody, for Overtime. Yes, I did a quick wardrobe change. Thank you, producer Corey, for noticing. This has you written all over it, Corey. I could probably get you one. Tracksuit from Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Randy tossed it to me when I was there this summer. And what a summer it's been. What a summer it's been. It's ending now for me. For a lot of you, it ended last week, but heading back to Florida tomorrow. Thank you to Golden Ticket Sports Center. Thank you to Moose Jaw. Thanks for everybody that hosted our live shows and the events that we did. That's why I stayed this long to do the Labor Day events and the NFL kickoff last night at Pump Jacks, and away we go. But where do I even start? I'm seeing this arguing going on online between Luke Wilson of TSN and Bob Irving, and I'd heard that Luke was back talking Bob. I'm like, there's no way that he would do that, right? And then I went and looked at it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just distasteful. Everybody knew that I had strong opinions for a long time in my time in the CFL, but I never disrespected the icons. So we'll see where that goes. Life's short, and I want to point this out. Florida Panthers fans are in mourning. This guy, Steve, I'm going to show this. Steve Alario. He's like one of the most famous Florida Panthers fans. And when the Panthers score every single, he just cool dude. Met him. He was getting confused for Ric Flair. Everybody thought he was Ric Flair for years. He wasn't. It became such a joke that for as long as been there, and I've been going down, this will be my 5th season covering the Panthers. I'm laughing in a tough time because he passed away. And I'm like, life is short. We just sit here and feuding and fighting. Why? I don't understand it. But anyways, every time the Panthers score, Steve, season ticket holder, sat in row 4, right up where the Zamboni comes out. And they'd put him on the screen. He always had his sleeves rolled up in a black T-shirt, black blazer, black pants. And he'd smile. Woo! Crowd would go like that. And he passed away. And the Panthers fans are in mourning for good reason, and it's just, life's too short. So, Steve, rest easy, pal. You're a great Panthers fan. Here in Overtime, the NFL made it clear before the season that sportsmanship would be a point of emphasis. Jalen Carter provided the first example of misconduct of the season. It didn't take long. Now he awaits discipline from the NFL. A fine is expected. And even a suspension's a possibility, though Carter's contrition after the game helps his case. With tens of millions watching the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles facing the rival Dallas Cowboys, Carter spat on Dak Prescott 6 seconds into the league's opener on Thursday night. The 24-year-old defensive tackle was ejected from the game, forcing the Eagles to play without their best defensive player all game. But they won 24-20. I'm laughing because this business of they're going to emphasize sportsmanship. Okay, I feel like there's less sportsmanship than ever in all sports. And you're going to put an emphasis on it. And then in the second play of the game last night, he spits on a guy. It's all, and even player safety, to be honest, largely to me is a mistake. It's just window dressing. It's just talk. You know, we're going to emphasize sportsmanship. Hey, Rich in Edmonton, thanks for hanging in, man. Woo! He says life is way too short. It just is. I'm just looking at these feuds online, and I'm like, I don't have the energy to even follow it. And I was talking to a media guy the other day at that alumni golf. I said, what do you think about the Luke Wilson thing? He's like, I'm not following it anymore. It's gotten old. I'm sitting there fighting away and saying not to be muzzled. I like the guy, but I don't see it ending well. Shy in Saskatchewan says, have a safe trip home and keep safe with the way the United States is a horrible state with ice. Shy, you just stay up here. You just do you. We'll be good. Jason in Red Deer says, life is too short, Rod. My brother-in-law is clinging to life in Vancouver after a crash on his way to Alberta from Vancouver Island. See? Our prayers to you. Yeah, hopefully he pulls through, Jason. May God give your family strength and him. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, hey, Rod, has it cooled down yet in Florida? Here's the thing I was just telling a guy last night. You know how the polar pole of cold is like middle January? That's like the coldest time here. The hottest hot is the first 2 weeks of August, like ridiculously hot. End of July, first 2 weeks of August. It's uncomfortably hot now, but it's at least livable. I drive around in my Jeep down there, and Corey Pedersen's watching in Tallahassee. I mean, I'm 8 hours south of him. But, I mean, you're outside in a Jeep with no roof on, your phone stops working because it's too hot. That's in May. It's better now. I think I saw it was 33 Celsius the other day, but as my Florida friends say, we'll take this over the cold. But what I didn't realize until I spent a lot of time there is it's as hot there as it is cold here in terms of uncomfortability. And as long as I can keep spending the summers in Canada, I'm going to. And I love the CFL on CBS Sports Network deal. I can watch my CFL ball, although now with college kicking off, there's going to be far less CFL football on CBS Sports Network. But CFL Plus is great. Be watching that and looking forward to getting back on the hockey trail. Just stay tuned for a lot of exciting things coming down the pipe here with the RP show. By the way, producer Corey, thanks for showing up last night, and your significant other. She said that you were dressed like a highlighter, and I kind of like that. That's why I said this coat's got you written all over it, Corey. He likes bright colors, as do I. Clearly, as does Randy at Overtime Hockey Lanes. Ryan's writing in from New York. That's where my mind went. He says, have a great weekend, Rod Squad, and prayers for Jason and his family. May God be a refuge in your time of need. Well said, eh? Well said. Thanks to Jim Barker. Thanks to Scruffy. Most of all, thanks to you people for tuning in, and we'll talk to you Monday right back here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and Mission Radio.
Now I'm the whore and the pimp. That's where the money is.
How about that?